Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. Today, we'll be continuing into part 6 of What If Goku Was Born as a Super Saiyan. If you haven't seen part 5, there's a title card where you can go check it out to see what happened in the last part. But today, we'll be going into the Joint Alliance arc. Also, I own a Discord server for anyone who wants to join and talk more about Dragon Ball with me and other viewers. Maybe give out some of your own ideas of what ifs, and maybe in the future, I could do them. Check the link in the description down below. Alright, so before we get into the what if, I got to answer the first comment of the video left by Insane Makayoshin. So the way he formatted was actually really good, and I'm going to use his as the first example, where he wrote down question and then showed us his question and then commented down what he wanted to calm down. So what he commented down was a bunch of what if requests, which I found some very interesting, and I wrote some down in case I ever get to do them in the future of my channel. But his question is, what is my favorite character? I'm guessing he's talking about Dragon Ball, because you know. And my favorite Dragon Ball Z character, well, Dragon Ball Super character, anyone from Dragon Ball, Saiyan-wise is Broly. The name of my channel kind of goes off his Ikari form, which is also called Wrathful at sometimes. So Dragon Ball Super Broly is my favorite Dragon Ball character. He's just really cool, and I like his. Some people like Z Broly more than Super Broly, but I prefer Super Broly over Z Broly. Now, if I was gonna say someone who wasn't a Saiyan, because a lot of people, if you ask them their favorite Dragon Ball Z character, they're gonna say a Saiyan most of the time. So if I took out any Saiyans and any half Saiyans, I would probably have to go with Yamcha. He's just cool. Even though he gets played a lot in the series, he is my favorite Dragon Ball Z character that isn't a Saiyan. And yeah, so that's how it's gonna go. Thank you for leaving their comment. I'll be showing it on the screen so that, you know, people know who it is. And if you want your comment to be featured in the next video, just comment down a question with your comments. And if you're lucky enough, I'll pick you and answer your question in the next video. Without further ado, let's dive into part 6 of What If Goku Was Born as a Super Saiyan. Some time has passed since the last part, and all the Saiyans would have returned back to planet Vegeta, as Raditz, Turles, and Tarbles would tell Bardock, Kakarot, and Broly about the threat of Cooler and his armored squadron. This news slightly worries Bardock, as even in their current state, he doesn't think that they stand a chance against Cooler, especially if he is working on growing stronger than all of them. Kakarot jumps in, telling everyone about their visit on Namek and Earth, and how they have some strong fighters, and maybe if they can all gather their forces and prepare for Cooler, they could stand a chance to fight against him. Bardock likes the idea, but they cannot have the strongest people leave the planet all at once. He decided that it would be best for either him or Kakarot to stay on planet. At least one Super Saiyan needs to remain here in case Cooler decides to attack soon. Bardock decides to stay with Raditz and Turles, and they would gather up their forces on planet and prepare for everyone for when Cooler would arrive, and would send Kakarot, Broly, and Tarbles to gather the fighters and prepare them to face off Cooler. Bardock then remembers Granola and Monaito, as he would send Turles off to go grab these two, especially since Granola could be a helpful ally. Raditz would ask if he should go with Turles, but Bardock told him to stay. Kakarot was born as a Super Saiyan, and he ended up transforming into one, so he believed that Raditz should be able to achieve the Super Saiyan form, as he believed that maybe their entire family is able to become the legend, and would begin to heavily train Shred to see if he could achieve the form. They would wish each other good luck and would head off to their own mission. While everyone went off to their assigned planets, the training between father and son began. Bardock was harsh on the training, wanting to make Raditz achieve the form as soon as possible, as any sparring matches they had, Bardock was in his Super Saiyan state. The gap in power was immense, with Raditz standing only at 65,000, while his father is in Super Saiyan was at 2 million. Raditz couldn't even hurt his father, but would be taken down in 2 hits. But the more they trained, the more Zenkai Raditz would get, and he would grow quickly. And in a month's time, he boosted his power level to 80,000. But still no luck with tapping into the power. Bardock would keep pushing Raditz into a corner, trying to make him explode in anger, the same way that he did when he tapped into the power, threatening him, saying that if he doesn't tap into the Super Saiyan power, that everyone could be killed, and saying that he is his first son and he would most likely take the throne after him, but he must prove himself worthy of doing this. With all this pressure and motivation on Raditz, he begins to train even harder. With addition to training with his father, he also was in charge with training all the other warrior Saiyans in order for their army to grow stronger for when Cooler would arrive on their planet. Some months would pass on as we would pan over to Turles as he would arrive on his planet Cereal, but his facial expression quickly changes into one of shock as the planet looked completely destroyed. He flew all around the planet trying to find anyone, but all he found was destruction, even a city that looked newly built. He was very worried, thinking that Cooler had already taken out Granola and Monaito. He would fly around to where they found him the first time he came here. He would use his scouter to try to locate Monaito, but wouldn't scan anything and would think that they are gone, until he hears quiet footsteps approaching him. As he looks over to see Monaito, Turles quickly goes over to him asking what had happened. Monaito explained that a few months ago, Cooler and his 2 goons arrived on the planet and grew some sort of tree, and the planet began to slowly lose its life, and Granola would begin to notice it. Once he would notice something going on, he would go out to look around and see what is going on. During the time from when we first met Granola as a kid till now, it's been close to around almost 2 decades since then. And with what he saw from the Saiyans as a kid, he would focus his life to train to grow stronger. Now, being the only real fighter on the planet, he didn't have any training partners to grow stronger in a faster way, so his overall strength didn't grow crazy strong. His techniques though made up for his lack of power. He wouldn't be as good as when we see him originally in the manga, but no doubt he is pretty decent with his abilities. He would end up meeting with Cooler and his 2 other members of his armored squadron. Seeing how weak Granola is, he paid no mind to him and just sent Nez to kill him. And the fight begins. At first, Granola was struggling to stay alive, as their fight would be pushed into a new city that was being built on the planet. Granola would try his hardest to try to fight away from the city and the innocent, but it was not possible, and Nez would continue destroying the city. Granola would get angry, as he would try to hit Nez, but he was fast to dodge a lot of the attacks, as then he would calm down to focus more on his attacks. And with some luck on his side, he managed to strike Nez at a vital point, which paralyzed him and rendering him useless. And at the shock of Dore, seeing how weak this guy was able to take down Nez in a single blow. On the other hand though, Cooler was quite impressed with his fighter's abilities. He goes down to Granola and gives him an offer, since now he has an open slot on his team, as he suddenly uses his laser beams to finish off Nez. He asked Granola to join them to take out the Saiyans, and he would leave this planet alone. Granola thought about it, as he didn't want to join bad people, but it was to save everyone on the planet, as he had no chance to stop Cooler, but with a plus side that he could enact on his revenge on the Saiyans. To be fair, they still were the ones who completely decimated his entire race, so I find it hard to believe that Granola would have forgiven them for what they have done to him. Granola looks over to see Cooler and join his group in order to save everyone. After healing all of this, Torres grows even more worried, and he would take him and Monaito back to planet Vegeta. Monaito does show that he has the 2 Dragon Balls with him in case of any emergency that they would need them, and they would begin to head back onto planet Vegeta. We move on to Kakarot's group as they land on planet Namek, and with Kakarot and Broly as familiar faces, they would trust Tarbles with no problem. They would explain everything to Guru and Nail about what is going on out in the universe, and the big threat of Cooler. Guru sees this as a huge problem that needs to be dealt with, as if they don't stop him, he could end up arriving on Namek and potentially using the Dragon Balls for no good. So he would order Nail to join the Saiyans and aim them with taking down Cooler, and also have him be fused with some of the other warrior Namekians. But once they were about to leave Guru's house, Goku suddenly disappears, to everyone's shock. Kakarot appears on the lookout on Earth, in front of Yamcha, Krillin, and 16. He asks what is going on, and guesses if the Saiyans arrived on Earth, but they tell him that they sense an immense power level on their planet. Kakarot quickly senses the power level, and his eyes widen with how strong the power level is. He notifies them about everything on Cooler, and what is he doing to the planet. And this horrifies them, as now their planet is in grave danger. Krillin tries to wish that Cooler would just be sent away, but that is beyond Shenron's power. Kakarot sighs, saying that their best chances would have to be that they would wish themselves off the planet, as they do not have the strength to stop Cooler. Yamcha then asks how long would they have once he plants those seeds on the planet, and Kakarot would say roughly a day. Then they get the idea to head into the time chamber to see if they can get strong enough to somewhat match Cooler, but Kakarot denies it, as their best chance of winning is to group up at one location then fight them as a group. Earth may be lost now, but they have other Dragon Balls that they can restore the planet later. They aren't too keen on just leaving the planet, but they have to suck it up as the reality of the situation. They use the last wish on the Dragon Balls to wish all 5 of them plus Bulma off the planet and back to Namek. Bulma is quite shocked on why she's suddenly on Namek, and Yamcha would explain the situation, and this terrifies her, and asks why they didn't try to fight back, but Kakarot said that it would just be them throwing their lives away, as he was too strong even for himself. With the group back together, they would all head over to planet Vegeta to group up with everyone else, as the Namekians wish them all good luck. On their way back to the planet, the humans have to take in a lot, as they basically just lost their home and all their loved ones without putting up a fight. Bulma was very angry at Kakarot for just leaving the planet to die without trying, but Yamcha tried to defend Kakarot, but she was still very angry at him. Nail barged in, asking what the plan is to fight against Cooler. Kakarot explained that they wanted to grab the strongest fighters and train everyone up, and hopefully with their combined power, they will be enough to stop Cooler completely. Nail was baffled at this so-called plan, but that's the best they got. Our way back to the Faded Prince, after his almost death encounter with Cooler and his squad, he would end up crashing on a galactic patrol planet. They all surround him, thinking he was with the old king Vegeta and the evil Saiyans. But before he passes out from his wounds, he tells them that Cooler is using the Tree of Might to grow stronger and plans to kill King Bardock and the Saiyans to rule over the universe as he collapses. They're all confused to hearing this and thinking if they should trust Vegeta, but they would get him the aid he needs, as when he wakes up after a few days later, he is met with Jaco and other patrol member Miris. Jaco questions Vegeta about his loyalty to which Saiyan group, which he refused to be on either side, as the past few years he's been more of a nomad, being on his own. But after hearing Cooler's plan, he needs to warn the others as they are in so much danger. And he is so much stronger than any of the 2 Super Saiyans that they have on planet Vegeta. And he would mention the Tree of Might, and this catches the attention of the patrol members, as now they realize why many planets are beginning to look all dead. They all begin to take preparations, but Vegeta asks for help as he does need to help warn the other Saiyans and has to grow stronger to take down Cooler. Meruem looks at Vegeta with a straight face and decides that he will train him a little bit. Meruem most likely at this point would not be as kind or humble when he first meet him originally in the Dragon Ball Super manga. I feel like he would train Vegeta, but only trying to get him a little bit stronger and not fully focus on him like how he did with Goku. The Galactic Patrol Force would try to stop Cooler, but a lot of the forces wouldn't stand a chance. Some months would pass and Vegeta grew quite a lot from training with Meruem. He didn't know what it was exactly, but Meruem was something out of this universe, and he learned a very useful transformation. He explained to Jaco what they need to do is all group up on planet Vegeta, as most likely Bardock and his army have been training and preparing for Cooler to arrive, and based on their recent info, Cooler isn't too far from planet Vegeta. So Jaco, Meruem, Vegeta, and the rest of the Galactic Patrol forces would all head towards planet Vegeta. During the past few months, the Saiyans all have been training hard during the months, and with the Earthlings and the Namekians, they have grown stronger as well. With Nail having the strongest base power level, with a power level of 1 million after doing many fusions on Namek at the start before the training, so he was a big help. What also helped the group train was that Bulma created a gravity room that they had on them when they left the planet. Everyone used it as often as possible, and this helped in their training significantly. Bardock kept Monaito safe and the secret from the Dragon Balls hidden just in case the word doesn't get out. Even though the situation is dire, Bulma did take being in a whole alien civilization as a crazy experience and even helped boost their technology. Krillin and Yamcha taught the Kaioken to the group and the Saiyans besides Kakarot and Bardock, as they all learned the technique, which was quite useful as they could use it as a higher times rate over the 2 humans. Nero really found great use to it as he is able to regrow limbs so he could push his body over the limit if need be. Most of the Saiyans army too learned the Kaioken. After months of intense training, here are the power levels of everyone. Kakarot being at the strongest with his base being at 2 million, so 100 million with his Super Saiyan state. Bardock at 1.5 million, making his Super Saiyan state at 75 million. Nail at a base power level of 5 million and being able to go up to Kaioken times 20. And if need be 50 for a short time. He trained a lot with the Super Saiyans, so his base would be the strongest compared to everyone else. Broly would be near Bardock at a base of 1.5 million and could use Kaioken times 5. Turles and Raditz will stand at 1.25 million and could use up to Kaioken times 3, with Tarbles, Yamcha, and Krillin standing at 1 million, while Tarbles can go to Kaioken times 3, but the other dudes can manage to reach up to times 5. Now with Android 16, Bulma would be studying the fighters to collect data for 16, and would be upgrading him throughout time for him to grow stronger and manage to have him at the same strength as Nail when he would be at Kaioken times 20 as a base. Everyone would continue to train up, but Bardock would still slightly be worried that even after all the training, it would not be enough to stop Cooler. He would go to Paragus and try to create a backup plan if things don't go their way. Paragus would bring up the idea of using the Dragon Balls to use the power of the wishes on their side. They would bring in Monaito to ask him if there is a limit to the wishes. Monaito would tell them that some wishes could not be possible based on the strength of the dragon, but most wishes should be possible, and he would ask Bardock what would his wish be. Bardock would say that it could be a stretch and might not be possible, but before he could say his wish, Raditz and Kakarot would barge in telling him that Cooler's ship has been spotted and he hasn't come alone. Bardock would rush out cursing as they thought they would have some more time, but once he looks up at the sky, he sees Cooler's ship with the remaining Frieza forces if they want to avenge their dead leader. And that's what we're going to leave it up for now. Tell me how you think about the 6th part and how I did with the Joint Alliance arc. Would the Saiyans and the other fighters be strong enough to take on Cooler? Will the Galactic Patrol be able to arrive on time to help out the Saiyans? If things don't work out well, what would be Bardock's wish to stop Cooler? What could have happened differently? Leave your thoughts down in the comments down below. I would love to hear them. If y'all are interested and enjoyed, please leave a like and subscribe and hit the notification bell to be alerted whenever I post another part. Thank y'all so much for watching, and I will see y'all in the next part. See ya!